Welcome. Make yourself comfortable, won't you? I want to tell you a story.
Greetings, invaders. My name is Scott. This is Book Invasion. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about another one of my anticipated releases of the year, which is Star Eater by Kirsten, which has a gorgeous cover. And so I was really anticipating this one because I had read Kirsten Hall's novella called The Border Keeper a couple years ago. I did a review for that while I was in a cave, which is kind of cool. You can check that out as well. And The Border Keeper was a really cool story about kind of this witch who lives in the deserts, who maintains the integrity of a border between the living world and the underworld. And a man kind of approaches her to go through that portal to find a loved one, I believe. And so there's like 99 levels of the underworld, and the author really doesn't sprinkle on a lot of the lore and the history. She just gives you enough to know what's going on in the moment. And it's really great and really creepy and weird, and it leaves you kind of wanting the whole history of the whole lore of where these things came about, how they came to be, who are these people. But she just kind of just is like, here's a person, here's what their role is, here's like a ritual they need to do, and it just leaves it at that. It doesn't tell you the why or where it came from, which I really liked. Like, not a lot of authors can just throw those things at you without you getting frustrated and like, what does this mean? Like her writing and the way that she described these realms of the underworld and these beasts and the way that they traverse them was just a really matter-of-fact way, and it was a really cool thing. So anyway, The Border Keeper was really awesome. And Star Eater kind of has that in it as well, where there is not a explanation of some of the terms that happen. There's not a lot of info dumping. It's just like, hey, we're going to go through a renewal ritual tomorrow. Like, are you ready for that? And the character seems a little bit stressed and worried about it. You don't know as the reader what they're talking about, but okay, I have to go through the renewals and they really hate it or something like that. And so you are going along the ride with the characters. Well, they know the whole history, they've lived in the world, but you as the reader are kind of at the edge of your seat thinking like, okay, this seems like interesting. Like, what is this? I'm excited to know what it is. There's a lot of that going on in Star Eater and Kirsten Hall's writing, I think, in general. So this book talks about a group of cannibal nuns. Yes, they live in the post-apocalyptic future where they're living in a place called Atrium, that the EATER is who they worship, and the EATER apparently scooped this whole thing out of the earth and kind of lifted it up into the sky. That's where they live now, and they're governed by these kind of rules of the EATER. There's a statue that they worship, and they all have these magical powers known as lace. And lace is kind of like a psychokinetic energy force that they can portray or project other place to. They use that to fight off what they call the haunts. And the haunts are these like deformed, creepy demons that used to be people. And the haunts originate when the nuns have relations with a man. And the man kind of becomes poisoned and slowly deteriorates from a human into what they call a haunt, a beast. So they have to have these lockdown rituals where essentially they go into a cell to have relations with the man in order to do that. And then they lock the man up so that if he turns into a haunt, they can, I guess, exterminate it on site. In order to prolong the lifeline of these nuns, obviously they need to have children. That's, I guess, the way that they need to do it. And so once they have children and they're female, I believe that the sisterhood kind of captures that child and raises them in the sisterhood of the nuns, I suppose. And so anyway, so here's a little blurb about this. Alfreda Ron will avoid pregnancy if it kills her. In one way or another, it will kill her. Though she's able to stomach her gruesome day-to-day duties, the reality of preserving the sisterhood of Atrium's magical bloodline horrifies her. She wants out, whatever the cost. So when a shadowy cabal approaches Alfreda with an offer of escape, she leaps at the opportunity. As their spy, she gains access to the highest reaches of the sisterhood and enters a glittery world of opulent parties, subtle deceptions, and unexpected bloodshed. A phantasmagorical indictment of hereditary power, Star Eater takes readers deep into a perilous and uncanny world where even the most powerful women are forced to choose what sacrifices they will make, so that they might have any choice at all. And yeah, so there is absolutely a lot to unpack in this story, whether it's the rituals that they go through, the world that they're living in, the way that the sisterhood acts amongst each other, the double-crossing, espionage, and uncovering of, wrongdoings at the highest echelon of the sisterhood. That kind of thing happens. There's action between the sisters where they have to face up against the villains, the haunts here. Then there's also cannibalism amongst the sisterhood. There's a whole concept of the renewer, which is a crazy thing that happens, like the chosen one. There's a crazy world that this is all happening within. And so Kirsten Hall, the way she writes, she just throws you in it. Like, all this stuff has already been established for many years. The characters are all familiar with it. There's not a thing where the character's learning something new at the time they experience it. It's always kind of been that way. So you're really thrown into this immersive world, and it's just happening around you. And so that was one of the aspects of this book that I really enjoyed. I really liked it. It leaves you kind of wanting more. It leaves you asking a little bit of questions and wondering if you're going to be fed those answers throughout the book. And sometimes you are, and sometimes you're not. And you just have to kind of deal with that. But the way that the story whole played out was kind of almost a murder mystery plot with a fantasy touch and some kind of cool magic going on throughout it. And the world is just bonkers, bizarre, and awesome. And I really enjoyed the book. Star Eater is a really great read. I think there will be more in this series. And there's going to be another book in the Border Keeper series as well that's coming soon. The cover was just revealed, and it looks absolutely amazing. So Kirsten Hall is definitely an author that I want to keep an eye on. I want to keep reading what she's put out because it's different, and it kind of doesn't baby you into feeding you the information that you kind of want as a reader, which is good. I enjoy that. And it just kind of throws you into these crazy established worlds that are just imaginative and awesome. So those are my thoughts on Star Eater. There's a lot to unpack in the story. There's a lot of roles and feminism kind of going on in it. There's a lot of the matriarchy that's happening throughout the book, so if you like that kind of thing too. Sisterhood and cannibalism and crazy powers, and your main character, Alfreda, is kind of not... And the main character, Alfreda, is not the superstar sister. She's kind of a rookie to the whole kind of thing, I suppose. And so she's not the gung-ho, like, let's go get him. She's like, I don't know if I can handle this right now. And so you kind of get that feeling as her of coming to her role in the sisterhood. And I really like that as well. So those are all my thoughts on Star Eater. Definitely check it out by Kirsten Hall. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.